Hello and welcome to our video orientation related to our first project in the class, the first set of assignments called the book project. I'm going to do a brief overview and then go into more detail about the specifics of this assignment. To get the overview, let's go look at the calendar so you can see how the assignments are broken down. The book project is broken into three parts. Book project part A, which is due on Tuesday the 10th, book project part B, which is due on the 12th, and then book project part C, which is actually the completed book project with all writing pieces revised and put together into a kind of book, is due on the 15th. So when we talk about part A, part B, and part C, realize that it's broken into three parts and that you have certain things to do in each one. Let's go back to assignments where you can find the various parts. I'm going to look at book project part A. This is our first example of a assignment cycle or essay cycle or a post. And what I try to do is to set up everything you need to do for an assignment within this single page. And notice it has tasks to do. Oftentimes I set it up in a careful sequence. So it has a start date and a due date. This one starts on the 9th and is due on the 10th. Remember, we're in summer school, so things go very quickly. Notice also that it has links. So you may at times print different assignment pages, but realize that to get the full benefit of these, you will need to access the links. Let's go through this one in more detail. Task 1 is about getting started in the class. You probably already have looked at the checklist for starting English 0301. That's very important that you can go through and do each of these things and answer affirmative to them. I'm not going to go through the checklist in detail here. We talk some about it in the work for the class. Also, you want to make sure that you complete the required course orientation materials. I've got certain things that I need you to do to, in a sense, confirm your orientation in the class, your registration. That you read the syllabus carefully, that you've gone through all of the videos. These will be links eventually once I update them later today or tomorrow. And that you've accessed our writing environment, the writing club. This access won't be available till June 7th or 6th, and that you successfully posted your first set of writings. You'll also need to have done your first response to the first class announcement post in the class announcement forum inside the writing club, which is also what you do for attendance. So all those things are important to just make sure you're oriented for the class, and as you work on that, if you have questions, please email me or contact me as soon as you can. The second thing you'll need to do is to write a diagnostic essay. This is just to give me a snapshot of your writing here starting out the class, and I don't urge you to take a lot of time on it. Take an hour or 2 hours, write to the best of your abilities, but realize it's not for a grade, and in most cases I probably won't even give you feedback on this essay. It's more for my uses just to see where you are in the class, and if I see things we need to start with right away, that will do that. The third task is to get started on the book project. And we'll look at that in more detail in a second, but you'll also want to, once you get into our online writing learning environment, the writing club, to take some time getting oriented, to set up your own preferences and those kinds of things, and see how you post and reply to things. Alright, let's look at the book project in more detail. Book project is going to be, as I mentioned, our first three assignments, A, B, and C for the book project. Part A is due on Tuesday, and what I'll be doing is setting you up in groups or teams. This assignment is meant to not be a real difficult, high-stress assignment. You may be worried about it since it's the first, but I've set up a number of pieces of writing for you to just write without having to worry about grammatical correctness or any particular kinds of form. It's a way for us to get to know each other some in the class, to share some of our writing, to see each other's writing, and to work through some of the kinks of getting started in the class, and also to put together something that I think is fairly productive at the end. It's a really good assignment, and I think you'll enjoy it. So as I mentioned, I'll be putting you together with other members of the class into a group or team, and I will be showing you where that team stuff is a little bit later. You'll also be turning in your writing pieces to your group's location inside our writing environment, and I urge you to make sure to label each one of your messages by the writing piece it is. So when it has a place to label the subject, put in like my piece, writing piece number 1 or writing piece number 2. As I mentioned, the book project is divided into 3 parts. In part A, you'll be writing pieces 1 through 3. In part B, you'll be doing the drafts of writing pieces 4 through 6. And then in part C, you'll be putting all these pieces together, revised and cleaned up and whatever, into the final book. And as you see, I'll go through the topics 1 through for writing pieces 1 and 3, 2, 3 kind of mirror 4, 5, and 6. So writing piece 1 is a basic kind of introduction to yourself for the class, who am I or who I am. And I've got quite a bit of material here that you can kind of use to prompt you for writing this one. You don't have to address all of these things in here, and I urge you to please write it as a paragraph, not in a list format. If you start working on this before you have access to the writing club or know exactly where to post it, go ahead and save it on your computer, and these will be turned into the online learning environment, not to me by email. Writing piece 2 is a descriptive piece, and to start this one you'll want to look at the handout on the power of description and go through that and study it. It's got some really interesting things that you may not have really thought about or done much, and you might keep it by your side, but as you do writing piece 2, actually go someplace to do it and think of yourself like a landscape painter, and describe a room in your house or some other location in as much detail as you can. Writing piece 3 is what does education mean to me? And this one may be a little bit more involved. It's what has it meant to you in the past? What does education mean to you presently, right now? And then what do you believe education will mean for your future? So past, present, future. Again, these don't have to be don't worry about grammar in these. Don't worry about any particular form or length. Just write, and try to write as best and fully as you can. Now, that's for in the book project part A. Now, in book project part B, you're going to be doing